don't know about you, but for the longest time, I've been told a lie that willpower is limited. Hey there, I'm Esther Rappaport, a brain engineer for entrepreneurs, and here to help you reduce procrastination and help you focus on what you need to most in your business so that way growing your business is fun, easier, and takes a lot less time. Okay, let's get into it. Willpower, as we've been told, is limited. We wake up every morning with a certain amount of willpower. And as the day goes on, then we have less and less willpower. And that is why they say, that is why in the morning, when you decide, today is going to be a healthy day, and you decide that today I am going to eat just foods that are good for me and no sugar and just vegetables and protein. And all of a sudden, 4 o'clock comes, or maybe for you, it's 7 o'clock. There's a chocolate chip cookie on the counter, or you're craving some ice cream, and that all goes down the drain. You have used all your willpower from the morning, and your willpower is up, and now you just give into it. Right? Have you been told that story? Have you been told that we have a limited amount of willpower and like our brain becomes fatigued and over time it becomes harder and harder for us to have willpower? Well, guess what? It's wrong. Carol Dweck, one of the people I love to study. She's the one that did the massive research on growth mindset and did the research and popularized me and my wording. The concept of a growth versus fixed mindset, which, by the way, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I have full playlists of growth mindset on this channel, but it is essentially a prerequisite in order to be able to learn anything. But she did research on the concept of willpower and whether it is really limited or not. And guess what she discovered? Willpower is more about what you believe to be true. So if you believe that you have a certain amount of willpower, by the time it comes to a certain time of day, you will have lived up to your belief and give into your willpower. If you believe willpower is unlimited and you can have an unlimited amount of willpower, and it is simply a muscle and a skill that you can develop over time, you will have an unlimited amount of willpower, no matter what time of day, no matter how stressful it was, no matter what is happening in your life. Now, willpower is a skill that you can develop. It's self-control is a skill you can develop. Self-control is actually one of the 28 thinking skills that we discuss here a lot. But it is a skill that you can develop. So if we want to go a little bit deeper into why this makes sense and why this works, is when life is going easy, when things are going right and there's nothing wrong, it is easier for us to do the less developed skills, okay? Right? Let me give an example for, let's say not yelling at your child. If your child is behaving, it is a lot easier not to yell at your child. When your child acts up a little bit, you can maybe control yourself a little bit. But when your child's acting up like crazy and it is a super stressful day and everything's going on, and this skill of controlling yourself, of not yelling at your child, is not very well developed and only something recently that you've begun working on, it is a lot harder for you to control yourself. Not because you lack the willpower, but because that skill is not as much developed. It doesn't mean you can't. That means even when you have a super stressful day and your child is acting ridiculous, you do not need to yell at your child. But it is going to be a little bit more challenging. That is why we think willpower is just like however much we have of it. So back to our cookie example, right? If we believe we have a certain amount of willpower and the morning is easy, nothing stressful yet happened, and and it's easy to eat breakfast that we just planned on having a yogurt and some fruit, but then dinner time comes and it's not ready, it is a little bit more challenging for us to keep it to us, for us to follow through what we've promised. Not because we are lacking willpower. It's simply because that skill hasn't been developed as much. So if you have a growth mindset and are developing the skill of willpower and developing the skill of having self-control, it will be a lot easier for you to develop that skill of self-control. So I'd like to know, what are you going to believe about willpower? Let me know right below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on willpower and places and times when you have been able to maintain that willpower and self-control, even when things have been super, super challenging. Let me know right below so we can hear your stories. Have an awesome rest of your day and cheers to peak brain performance.